What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Empty the Benches. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can probably tell that my co-host is back from his overseas trip. Mac, welcome back to the United States, buddy. How you doing?
Nice, yeah. I'm good. Still kind of adjusting. Definitely some brain fog, some weird sleeping and eating patterns these first couple days being back, but we're slowly but surely getting over the hump. It definitely helps that I get to come back to like a half work week and then have off Thursday, Friday, obviously for the holidays. So that makes it a little easier. Just got to make it through to end of Wednesday, and we'll hopefully get some rest after that. But definitely an adjustment. It was a fun trip. Just to give you a little idea of where my head's at, I did bake a frozen pizza today with the cardboard fully still underneath the pizza and didn't realize that until I was trying to cut the pizza, and I was like, what the fuck is this not like cutting all the way through for? And then I realized there's still cardboard under there. So
Did you still
yeah.
eat the pizza?
Started to. We might address the rest of that after this episode.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, based on your trip, it looks like you got to do some awesome stuff. What were some of the highlights? I feel like, just first and foremost, that Berlin Ice Baron game you went to looked like that was a ton of fun. I see you rocking the tarp now. That thing is so sweet. Love that the Champions Hockey League patch on there, too. That is super cool. So what was that experience like, man?
It was awesome. That was a one-of-a-kind experience. I've never gotten a chance to see hockey outside of the U.S., so that was a fantastic experience. We were with one of my friend's cousins who lives in Berlin was with us at the game, and he had never been to a hockey game before, actually, and so he enjoyed it, but he was telling us, he's like, yeah, next time you guys come back, we'll have to go to a soccer game because we were very like impressed with all the chanting. They chanted the entire game long, like the fan section, quote unquote. But he was like, he's like, these soccer game is more like 30,000 people chanting, not just like 200 guys or whatever, So it was a lot of fun for me, but I'm sure it didn't impress him that much as someone who's seen lots of European soccer and that kind of thing. But it was pretty sick. It was a sold out game. Tickets were like, I should have bought them earlier than I did. I thought it wouldn't be an issue, but I bought them like the day before and I actually couldn't even find 3 seats together. We just kind of like sat together and nobody bugged us. So that
Nice.
worked out nicely for us. But yeah, we were upstairs and great view. Hopefully you guys all saw the story, but yeah, I have videos, so I'll probably post them somewhere permanent so people can see them again. But yeah, really fun time. Really cool.
Nice. I ran a quick mental conversion on what your beer cost. If my math is right, I think that was around a $7 beer. So that's not terrible.
It's not that bad. Yeah. It's yeah, I was thinking that. I was trying to like do the conversion, but I was definitely a few deep already. That was honestly, I didn't get like, I think I was gone like 18 days or something. There were only like maybe 3 or 4 days that I would say I was actually like drunk. Like I definitely had lots of beers throughout the trip, but it was more of like a beer or two at dinner and then walk around for 3 hours and then another beer at a pub later, that kind of thing. But that was one of the nights I definitely got drunk. Just between the game and dinner beforehand, and then that was our one real fun night. Me and my roommate, we went out to experience the Berlin club scene. Didn't get home until about 5 a.m. that night. So a lot of fun, really good time. And that's actually kind of a nice segue as we're talking about international hockey into my question of the day, if you're ready for it.
Hit me.
If you could choose, I was going to say one, but give me your top 3 countries that you would like to see a live professional hockey game in.
Oh, that's a great question.
Outside of the U.S.
Actually,
let's say outside of the U.S. and Canada, outside of North America.
Fair.
Let's say that.
So I feel like I got to put Sweden on there just from some of like the Swedish Hockey League videos I've seen. That would be really cool. I feel like some of the Swiss cities would just be like really cool to go to, like especially some of those like up in the Lake District that are just like gorgeous cities or something like that. Yeah, those are the first 2 that come to mind.
Mm-hmm. I think I would probably go like I would love to see one in Russia. I really would.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so incredible. Um, I might even throw, like, a Finland on there just with how
Yeah.
they're kinda on the up and up, like, really getting better at the international level, and, I think that'd be really fun. And then, yeah, probably Sweden would have to be in there, or
Yeah.
maybe I mean, Czech would probably
I
be
was gonna
pretty
say
fun,
O2
like
Arena in Prague. That place is
yeah,
huge.
that could be pretty fucking sick.
I feel like
A
if
lot of
I was
great bands have played there too.
Definitely. I feel like if I was gonna see a game over there, like especially if it was gonna be like in Czechia, I would want to see the national team play.
Oh, for
Like if I
sure.
could see a Czechia Slovakia
Oh
game,
my god,
that would
yeah.
just be insane. Or like a Finland Sweden or something like that. I
Yeah,
feel like that would
yeah.
just be the ultimate experience.
That would be unreal. Yeah, that's good answers. I mean, I guess it's not that creative answers. We basically just said all the teams that are good, like in the Olympics and stuff.
Pretty much.
But that's why it would be so cool because all
Yeah.
those teams are like really good right now, and especially like we said, Finland and even Czech, like getting better and better in the last couple of years. So
Yeah. Honorable mention, maybe even the UK, just to get some of that,
yeah,
that
yeah.
crossover in the soccer football culture, and hint, hint,
No, I
maybe
mean,
some cool things to come there for you
honestly,
guys.
that's kind of what I saw in Germany. Like, you don't think of it as like a big hockey place necessarily, but like they just give such a fuck about their sports that it's
Right.
like they don't care. If you put Berlin on the chest, the people of Berlin are going to go crazy for it. Like, they don't care what it is.
Love that. I love that kind of mentality. And that just seems like it just instantly creates a culture of like not only like loyalty to the city, but also to the fan base from the team.
100%. Yeah, no, it was very cool. That was a one of a kind experience, and I'm super glad I had a chance to go.
Last question I'll ask you about your trip, because this is Thanksgiving week in the United States for all of our
Yeah.
American listeners. So, it's obviously a very food centered holiday. But what
Yes.
was the best meal you had over there? I know you sent me a picture of that huge, massive sausage you got. And then also
Yeah.
your dinner that night looked pretty good.
Nice. Um, yeah, that's a good question, and I knew it was coming because that's actually anytime any of my friends go on a trip, especially out of the country, but even if they just go to a different state or something, I always ask them when they come back that exact question, "What was the best thing you
Right.
ate?" And I was trying to think about that the entire trip. Every time I had a meal, I was like, "Is this the best thing I've eaten so far?" And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think a lot of the European food in general, I think a lot of it is kind of underwhelming. It depends where you are.
Okay.
It depends where you are before I get attacked. But like, for example, and I can say this because I have tons of Irish running through my blood. When I visited Ireland, brother, like
Yeah.
there's really not a whole lot to be that excited about. And
Right.
I know that's the case in like a lot of the UK. um Now, obviously, you go to Italy, it's amazing. You go to Paris, there's a lot of great, whatever. But I was a little underwhelmed overall. However, there were some quite good meals. I had at least like 5 or 6 just classic bratwursts that were
Nice.
probably like the 5 or 6 best brats I've ever had, and that's coming from a guy that lives in Wisconsin,
I
so
was gonna
that's
say that's
pretty
some
high praise.
heavy weight right there.
They do it a little weird though. It's like this big ass fucking sausage on like the smallest bun of all time. So the sausage is like swinging out either end of the bun, and you would think like, oh, German, they probably loaded up with sauerkraut and onions and all this shit. They really don't. At least not everywhere I went. It was just a sausage with mustard on it. That's all it
Interesting.
was, which I don't mind. I think sometimes you run the ball and it's even better. But
No, sometimes you want that thing to speak for itself.
no, and it did like the actual sausage was like extremely good, like snappy and like nicely cooked and kind of burnt, which I like too, like charred.
Love
So
that.
all the sausages were great. If I had to pick a non-sausage item, I might go with like I had this crazy like chicken flatbread.
Okay.
But what was so good about it, and one thing I will praise like Europe in general, their bread is so much
Yeah,
better and fresher than anything you get in the US.
that's a great point.
So anytime I had bread involved, like any of the little sandwiches I had or whatever, like the bread is just that much fucking better. But this flatbread, like the chicken was really good, some good sauces, but they had like just these really fresh like veggies and like some pickles and stuff like that on there too that were like
Nice.
really nicely diced up, and just there's a whole lot of flavor going on. So that was fire. And then another honorable mention, I just had like a really nice, this was actually right outside the arena before the Ice Baron game. It was at an Irish pub, and I was just shitting on Irish food. But it was good. It was just a fish and chips, but really well done. Like just nicely fried fish and some good fries and bread on the side, that kind of thing. So
that is another run the ball just staple. It's kind of like, I mean, a great one is great, a bad one is terrible, but usually you're getting that solid 7 out of 10 every time you hit that recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
So with, on the note of food and Thanksgiving coming up, I know we used to debate this a lot way back in the day, but where do we stand on all the Thanksgiving food? Do you have some favorites? Do you have some like overrated, overhyped, any recipes that you're just like straight up like not in my house at all, or do you like it all?
I'm a stuffing and mashed potatoes guy through and through. Those are like my two goats. I load up on those two. Obviously the turkey's good. Excuse me, turkey's good.
Bless you.
I'm burping just thinking about all the food I'm gonna eat on Thursday. But yeah, turkey's good if it's done right. I did this is kind of funny. My office, we've got this like chalkboard in the break room where they like to put like questions up, and you're supposed to like write your response or whatever, classic corporate team building shit. And there's like a bracket up there right now. This is what I came back to from being away for 2 weeks. It's a bracket of like Thanksgiving food. And I was like looking at, it's like almost all the way through the bracket now. Everyone's voted on everything. And I was like mostly agreeing with everything on one side of the bracket. And I was like, all right, let's see what's on the other side. And as I'm going through, there was all kinds of stuff that I was like, what is that? Like, that's what, I don't know if some of this is like really traditional Midwest stuff that I just haven't been exposed to. Cause I mean, I've had a couple Thanksgivings out here. I've obviously lived here a long time, but I usually come home for this holiday. So I guess like one of them was just like sausage and cheese. And I was like, that's like and everyone like had voted for like being like, oh yeah, classic sausage and cheese. Like, I was like,
you're like on a bagel? Like,
yeah, I was like,
in
what way? Like, in what, like, I was like, how is that? And I can't even remember, but there was something else I just straight up never heard of. And I was like, what?
Are they getting crazy with like the Midwest, like Jello salads and salads that are like 90% mayonnaise?
I have seen those, and they are disgusting. I don't think that was in the bracket, but anyway, but there is some nonsense going on in Midwest Thanksgiving. That's
Definitely.
For sure.
I agree with you. It's like, I'm a turkey fan. Like when it's done right, it's fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong, if it's gross and dried out and like blood, then obviously it's gonna suck. But like if you get a really good like rub or brine on there, if you end up doing the deep frying thing and don't blow your house up, please be safe. Like, that's fantastic. I'm with you on the mashed potatoes and stuffing. I mean, obviously, inevitably, there's going to be some form of pasta dish in my house, of course. But like, as long as the mac and cheese is good, I think this year we're throwing some wings in there. So love that.
That's awesome. Oh, this was another thing on the bracket where they had written stuffing. It was like stuffing / dressing. And I was like, dressing? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I was like, is that like a synonym? Like some people call stuffing dressing, or is it like stuffing with dress? I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. You say dressing, I think salad.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't think any of those salads out in the Midwest require dressing unless it's ranch. So
yeah, I had questions.
Where do you stand on the cranberry stuff?
When I was a kid, it was like my favorite thing on the plate, but I would get the fucking canned one that still has the ridge like on it, and I would eat the whole fucking thing. I love that shit. But nowadays I get a little bit, maybe mix it with the turkey or something like that. Or like, I like it better with the leftovers. If you're making a little like turkey sandwich or something, maybe throw a little bit on there. But I'm not that big on it, honestly.
I could never get behind it. I always thought it was like a ruse that like someone was like, this holiday is so brown, all the food is brown, we need to throw some color in there.
Like, that could be
But yeah, I'm excited for Thanksgiving. Hope you guys all have a great holiday, and just happy Thursday in November to all of our Canadian listeners. So appreciate you guys.
All right, let's talk some hockey, eh?
Definitely. So let's start with Mikko Rantanen. So big last couple of weeks for this guy. Obviously, you all have seen the game misconduct that he got against the Islanders, ended up boarding Alexander Romanov. Nick Bowens and I discussed that last week. We were both under the impression that that wasn't necessarily malicious or all that intentional. I thought the 5 and throw him out was fine for that.
Yeah,
Was thinking we were going to move on there. And then, of course, not 48 hours later, same incident. He ends up kind of running Matt Coronado from behind, gets the gate for that again, and gets an automatic 1-game suspension. And then, of course, we get the news that Romanov is going to be out for 5 to 6 months after having surgery. So obviously, I know that guy's had some injury problems. Wish him all the best. Hope he gets back soon, because you really just don't want to see that. And
yeah, that sucks.
I feel like it's even worse on a play where, it's just, I don't think that was the intent at all. And then, of course, this guy is now going to be shelved for 5 to 6. So it's just brutal to watch.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the only logical explanation for all of this, especially with some of the other news we saw today about the new Stars jerseys, is that Rantanen must have been so angry about how much their jerseys suck and how much they just need to go back to what they used to wear, that he was just like, I got to take matters in my own hands and like hurt some people.
Yeah.
And then, management saw that. They said, okay, well, one of our best players is pissed off and now, he's going to get suspended. So, all right, fine. We'll bring back at least a slightly better jersey. So it worked, but at what cost,
Yeah, so moving into that, where do you stand on those new Stars jerseys? If you guys haven't seen them, they dropped a newish alternate that takes that sort of newer, brighter green with the black and the silver sparkle, and then they threw it into that design from 1999, the one that we all want to see. I just think they got the colors wrong and it doesn't hit.
I kind of agree. It's better. It's definitely better than what they wear now. But I hate this obsession with teams. Their fan bases, the Caps are kind of doing it too, honestly. Their fan bases beg them to just go back to one of their old jerseys.
Right.
But it's almost like they can't admit that they were wrong to go away from it. So they're
Yes.
like, okay, we'll do it, but they have to put a new spin on it and make it weird. And sometimes it works, but a lot of the times it's no, dude, you can just admit that fashion is going back to the 90s because time is a flat circle, and that's what always happens. We decide what we wore 20 years ago is cool again, and it's okay to admit that that shit's cool again and just go back to it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and be like, oh, okay, we'll go back to it, but we're gonna do this and we're gonna invert the colors though. And
right.
It's dude, just give the people what they want at a certain
Play
point.
the hits, right?
Yes.
Look at LA. They crushed it, right? Everyone was shitting on them for years, us included, about how bad the previous purple one was, the purple and black, the one that was sort of akin to the Sacramento Kings, and then going into the weird Game of Thrones home base looking LA looking shield. And then, they pull a home run move, what was it, a couple years ago, and they're just like, all right, we're just going to go back to the Gretzky, McSorley, Luke Robitaille era black and white Kings uniforms.
Just go back.
They look great.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's really not that hard. So I think we're kind of at a weird point in the NHL right now. I feel like during the Reebok Edge era, a lot of teams were like, okay, we're going to go a little bit more modern with these designs.
Yeah.
Then we get to that Adidas era. We started to backtrack a little bit. Some teams wanted to go back to some old school things. And now I think there's probably 5, 6, 7 teams that just need a top to bottom overhaul. I mean, teams I think Dallas, you just got to rip this thing up and go back to the 1999 Stars. That is one of the best jerseys on the planet. I don't know how you're not using it. Nashville, please do something, anything different than what you're currently doing.
Carolina, go ahead and just fold the team and move somewhere different because you've never had a good jersey.
Right.
And
go back to Hartford, maybe.
Don't like you anyway. So
exactly. Also, hear me out, Winnipeg.
Yeah, I've never cared for it very much.
That old, throwback WHA Jets era. I like that one a lot.
This thing? Right
that
behind
one.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that's enough on the Rantanen situation. That's Dallas is. I think they're going to be fine. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's fair.
very interested to see what that first game against the Islanders
Man,
is going to be like, though.
Patty Wah fucking yelling down the tunnel and
Yeah,
everything. That was really something.
absolutely.
Let's talk about the Canucks. What the fuck is going on with them?
That's a fantastic question. I don't, and once again, I don't think they know what's going on with them, but they have made it known that they've got veterans available for trade that they're willing to move that do
Good
not
to
include
know.
Quinn Hughes. Okay, they're obviously not going to move Quinn Hughes. So
Right.
they've got these guys like Evander Kane, Kiefer Sherwood, Teddy Bluger, David Kampf, guys that they have that are gonna be UFAs that they can end up moving. Do any of those guys jump out as one, something they could get a good return on, and two, something that like could help a team that's sort of on the bubble here?
I mean, sure, but I guess I'm just a little confused why they're like already acting this way. Like we're just now a quarter of the way through the season. Yeah, you're in second to last in your division. Yeah, you're what, 6 or 7 points out of a playoff spot or something like
Right.
that, but like it's fucking November. Like, I don't
It's a good point.
really get why we're just packing it in a year where Quinn Hughes has basically said, like, if we suck, I'm not going to want to play here anymore. But if we're good, well, then we'll see. That's basically almost exactly what he said in the offseason.
He gave
And
the
you're,
PR version of that answer, but
yeah,
yeah.
and now you're not even like 2 full months into the season, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. I guess we should probably just trade all our UFAs and RFAs, and look at next year. Like I just do not understand the mentality if that's what the goal here is.
It's like
Now,
when SpongeBob goes to work at the Chum Bucket, and it's like, nah, I don't really feel like
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, exactly. Like it's not that bad. Like plenty of teams have had bad starts this season. It's like, okay, just figure it out. Like I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I know we had talked about Elias Pettersson a couple times this year. I spoke about that a couple weeks ago with
Yep.
Bowens.
Yep.
I think, he's had a really good year, just not on paper. If you look at like the block shots and like his involvement in that, it looks great. Offensive production, I don't think is where Canucks fans want it to be, but this team has to do something to get out of purgatory. Like, at this point, I'm now starting to feel bad for these fans because they basically, since the Sedin twins left, they really haven't had much of a like significant playoff push.
No, it's tough. I definitely feel for him. Again, would these players, to answer your original question, do they have some players that could maybe get some good returns and could also maybe help other teams? Like for sure, I think anybody would be interested in Kiefer Sherwood. A lot of teams would probably be interested in Evander Kane, Bluger. But I just don't know that if you're the Canucks, it's already time to start shopping those guys around. It seems really premature to make those kinds of decisions right now.
I agree. I think Sherwood's the one that if we got to a like trade deadline scenario here with this guy, I think he draws a lot of interest just from the compete level. He can contribute offensively as well. To me, that's just the guy that like scores you like 5 huge goals on a playoff
Yeah,
run.
don't get me wrong. Like if we get to 2 weeks before the trade deadline and or fuck it, even a month before the trade
Yeah.
deadline, and they're still like, 8 to 12 points out of a playoff spot or something like that. Yeah, fuck it. Go get something good for Kiefer Sherwood. You definitely could. I just don't get it in fucking before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's a good point. A team I could definitely see going for him, and a team I want to talk about now is the Minnesota Wild. I feel like he would fit into
Yep,
that lineup so well, give them a little
he
extra
would.
edge. But right now, the edge that they have is in goal. So Jesper Wallstedt, who I know is your fantasy hockey goalie, way to shove that
Just
in my
scooped him
face.
up. Couldn't believe he was still available.
How did you pull that off? Because he had his third shutout in 4 games as they beat the Jets the other night. This guy
I
looks
picked him up
unbelievable
just
right
in
now.
time for that third shutout on a Sunday to win me my matchup. How
Gotta
about
love
that?
dude. What a move.
Anybody who lost to me while I was in Germany, you suck at fantasy hockey because I was like barely tapped in. I was setting my lines at like 2 in the goddamn morning. Like it was a mess, and I still won both of my matchups. So you know who you are. I won't name names.
Yeah. Absolutely. The Wild, though, 8-1-1 in their last 10. They've won 5 in a row. They're starting to put together a nice little string here. They're third in their division. I know the top end of their division's a little crazy right now. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, it's been impressive for them. Do you think he's gonna make a case to take over as like the full-time A-list number one here?
Maybe. We've seen a lot of young goalies come into the league and put up some crazy numbers right away and then kind of fall back down to earth. So I'd like to see, how his next month or two goes before I really get too excited. But yeah, he's looked great so far.
That's fair. That's fair. Something that didn't look great that I'm really excited to touch on with you now that you're back from Europe is the JT Miller situation and if we think this guy should be on Team USA. So obviously, I think the big focal point of this is the video going around of him during that game against Vegas, which I know is about a week and a half old now, but turns the puck over, not really a great shift, kind of goes to sleep on the ice, doesn't seem very involved in the defensive zone. Vegas ends up scoring. Your thoughts on not only that, but if this guy should make the Olympic roster?
Look, I think it's embarrassing, that shift, for sure. I do think he's a little bit more under the spotlight than a lot of other players are because
Yes.
of his attitude and because of the way he's kind of done it to himself, in a way, with how outspoken he was in Vancouver and how, just his personality. He's the kind of player that now that he said all that he said and went back to the Rangers and all that, he's going to be under that microscope of like, okay, well, you were over there calling guys out, so I better not see you slacking. In reality, there's probably a million players you could like pinpoint and, do the, what's the word I'm looking for? The isolation cam,
Right.
uh, where it's like, oh my God, look what a dog shit shift this guy just had. And then a goal gets let in on that shift. I'm sure that's happened to a million guys, but yes, it's more embarrassing for JT Miller just based on who he is and what's expected of him now. Now, the USA thing is interesting. Do I think he would play well for Team USA and bring something positive to that lineup? Probably. I think suiting up for Team USA, probably there's a lot more motivation than playing for the Rangers right now, where they're at in the
That's fair.
standings and where their whole situation is at this last year and a half or 2 years now. But that being said, I think there's no shortage of for especially Team USA and Team Canada, there's no shortage of next guy in line.
Yeah.
So I think that the people recruiting and in charge of picking those teams are probably hyper focused on every one of these kinds of shifts that those guys have. And you never know what could exclude you or include you, and it I would love to be a fly on the wall in one of those recruitment
Yeah.
rooms just to see what they're actually like looking at and what they value most, because we can speculate. I said this to you the other day, but I'm so sick of all the speculation about
Yeah.
who's going to make these teams. I just want to know who's on Team USA, who's on Team Canada. I want to know so bad.
No, I think I get asked like every 24 hours from someone different. They're like, when are we going to know who's on the USA roster? I'm like, dude, you'll know when I know, like I think we all want to know this as soon as possible. I think where I stand on the Miller with USA thing is I feel like when we talk about this, you automatically almost like put him in that like checking role, like probably a bottom six forward, just given what the other weapons that the US has to play with. And where I really start to have some issues there is a guy like Dylan Larkin. I'm taking him over JT Miller 100 times out of 100 right now,
Yeah,
just
I don't
given
hate
how,
that.
like how his season has gone, how the Wings are doing, the speed that guy has. I think he's got a little bit more of an offensive upside than JT Miller does. And, I know this is going to be a, comparison that other people have made just because they're teammates, but I kind of feel the same way about Vincent Trocheck as well.
Yes. Oh, I totally agree. No, I'm right there with you on both those guys.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and empty the mailbox. You guys sent in some great stuff again this week. Staying on the Team USA Olympic theme here, they dropped their home jerseys for the 2026 Olympics. What are your thoughts on those?
I'll put it this way. I think I've seen it's not necessarily my favorite Team USA jersey ever,
Right.
but I think it's perfectly acceptable. Honestly, even more than that, I like them. I do like them. It's a classic case of like sometimes you just run the ball. It's just a blue jersey with the USA logo on it. Like there's nothing wrong with it at all. And I think there's some other teams out there that maybe should have just ran the damn ball.
Yeah.
There's some interesting ones out there.
Bowens and I chatted about the Canada one a couple weeks ago, and he was not happy about those.
It's
so
bad, dude.
It's pretty.
I think it looks like something you would get for going to like the premiere of like the new like Marvel movie or something like that. Like it looks like a fucking like
Canada Man or something.
Yeah, or like a Deadpool like hockey jersey collab or some
so
shit
good.
like that. Like it's like I went to the midnight showing of Deadpool versus the Avengers or some shit like that, and they gave me this hockey jersey. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I would say theirs is probably my least favorite out of all the ones I've seen so far.
Did you see France?
I did see France.
Weird.
Leave it to them to be weird and artsy about it, but it kind of looks like a barcode. I saw someone like trying to like scan it, and I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, like the Slovakian one looks great. The Czech one is great. Both of those teams have great crests, and I think they've got their red, white, blue designs down really, really well.
Agreed. The Germany one is awesome.
That one's pretty cool too.
Really good.
Yeah, and they've got some fun colors to play with. So I feel like theirs usually pops a little bit more.
Yeah, it usually does.
Next question from the mailbox. Connor Hellebuck is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. He's having a minor procedure on his knee. Are you concerned at all about his status for the Olympics?
Look, in my opinion, there's no minor procedures you can have on your knee. That, especially as a goalie, that is very concerning to me. I am highly concerned about it. That being said, the U.S. goaltending pool is one of the deeper ones. We still got Jake Ottinger. We still got Jeremy Swayman. You even wonder if Hellebuck can't go or something, if they look into a veteran like Jonathan Quick, or even like maybe if Demko or Gibson is healthy and up for the challenge, something like that.
I heard people throwing Spencer Knight's name around.
Yeah, he's been great this year, so I get why he's in the conversation. But like I said, I think if there's any team that could afford to have that happen to them, it's probably Team USA, but it's not good. It's bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think you make a great point about the knee procedure. There is no such thing as a minor procedure for a pro athlete of any level with their knee.
As a guy with bad chronic knee problems,
true.
And also just thinking about him as a goalie, I feel for him. That sucks.
Definitely. I do think that, like you said, the U.S. goaltending, pool that they have to pull from is pretty deep. I think the only country that would be deeper won't be at the Olympics, so we all know who that is with Igor, Bob, and Ilya. So it's probably for the best that those guys aren't there, but that's definitely something I'm concerned about. So hopefully we get some good news on that. And one other thing I'm going to throw in here is, I don't know if you've been keeping tabs on what's going on with the construction of the arena over there, but I think we're at a point where we all need to be pretty concerned about whether or not this is actually going to happen, because the NHL and the NHLPA specifically have come out and said, hey, if this building and the facilities and the ice aren't meeting our certain like minimum level of requirements here, we're just not coming. And I think that would be such a disaster for not only NHL, but for pro hockey, and specifically international pro hockey.
I would be so upset, dude. We can't have that happen.
You can't tease us, take us all the way to the end of like the road and then be like,
4 more years.
No, sorry, we're just not going to do it because the Italian government couldn't do construction the correct way. And look, shout out to our friend and former guest of the show, Babs. He made a great point about this. He was like, construction related to the Olympics is always an insanely corrupt and terribly managed business.
It's horrible.
We know that. We know it's the same way with the World Cup. We've seen what it's like. But you've had more than 4 years to get this shit together. You knew this was coming. So I don't know what the holdup was, if it was like a political thing or if it was like a backroom deal here, but I don't know, figure it the fuck out. It's not that hard. Just put up a barn. Next question from the mailbox. What is a bigger dumpster fire right now? The Leafs being last in the Atlantic or the Rangers being last in the Metro?
That's a great question, a really hard one. Both of them are funny, that's for sure. I mean, the Rangers one's way funnier to me as a Caps fan. I don't really have any personal vendetta against the Leafs, but it's just always kind of funny if something bad is happening to them. Which one is bigger dumpster fire? I guess probably the Rangers, just with all the pressure they put on themselves, all the pressure that the fan base puts on it. I mean, I guess you could say that about Toronto too, but I think both of these teams are teams that kind of like tried to shake up their lineup in big ways these last 2 years, and they're kind of soul searching for identity without some of those pieces now, and maybe that's part of it, but I think the Rangers should be more concerned. The Metro is, I think we thought that the Atlantic was going to be better this year. So far, the Metro has been better. The Metro is cutthroat right now. I think the Leafs are still only like, I mean, again, it's November, so I don't even know why we're looking at it this way, but yeah, the Leafs are only like, let's see, let me make sure I get this right. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, it's still pretty tight in both of those divisions. I think you're still seeing a little bit more of separation in the West, specifically in the Central. But yeah, I think it's interesting with the Leafs, though. I mean, you throw the Leafs and the Rangers into a conversation, inevitably one of the first things you're going to talk about is the media. And I know now the media in Toronto is starting to go, oh shit, did they get rid of the wrong piece?
Yeah,
and like,
which is funny.
Somehow we thought we were done with the Mitch Marner, Toronto Maple Leafs bullshit, and like it's still coming back.
Still talking about it.
Like
yeah.
I'm so done with talking about it. Like if it takes those two teams, Vegas and Toronto, meeting in the Stanley Cup final to put this shit to bed, I hope that happens this year so we can just be done with it.
That would be really funny. I saw one of those videos where they they poll a bunch of players in the NHL. Whose shot would you take? Whose skating would you take? Whose hockey IQ would you take? Marner was one of the guys they were talking to, and when they got to shot, he said, probably my friend Austin Matthews.
Nice.
Still buddies.
Gotta love that. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to go on with either of those teams. I would expect that they both kick it into high gear into December here.
I would agree. I'm
it'll
not
be
that
interesting
worried for either of them, all
no.
things considered.
And I think you make a good point about the Metro. It's a lot more tightly packed than we thought it was going to be this year. And that's, I think, for two big reasons. And that's the Islanders and the Devils came to play this season.
Yeah, and like weirdly, Columbus is kind of not that bad either.
Yeah. Well, they didn't look great the other night against the Caps, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
A team that did look great and has looked great for like the last month and a half is the Colorado Avalanche. This team is in complete cruise control right now. Best team in the NHL on paper by miles. And just about
one regulation loss.
One regulation loss. What's their goal differential? Plus 38. That's the best by miles in the NHL. 9 wins in their last 10 games. The woodshed looks impenetrable at this point. So at this point, I think they have to be clear-cut front runners going into the playoffs to win a Stanley Cup. Do you think they could absolutely do it again this year?
I don't see why not with the way they're playing. I mean, it's actually fucked. I'm just now looking at, forgive me, everyone, I kind of couldn't watch hockey for the last 2 weeks. I watched some at 1 and 2 in the morning and then fell asleep halfway through most of those games, but I'm just now looking at their advanced stats for the first time in 2 weeks. What in the fucking world, dude? That's actually insane.
No, they're unbelievable right now. I think, I don't know, maybe is this Nathan McKinnon micromanaging what the rookies are eating?
I did see that. That is funny. That is really funny.
It's got I love Nate Dogg.
He's a psycho.
Yeah,
Harry used to say it all the time. The dude is just a certified psychopath.
Absolutely. If he had any other job, he would have been in jail for about 10 years by now.
Yeah.
I feel like it must be terrifying to be a young guy coming into the locker room with him, where he's probably super nice to you on the first day, and then you miss one pass in practice and the dude just goes nuclear.
Oh, dude, I would be so afraid of him.
Say, Mac, before we move on, I think you have a word from our friends over at DraftKings, who are the proud sponsor of this episode.
Yes, I sure do. The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. Pick 6 is available in Texas, California, Missouri, and more. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus bets with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded is non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Let's go ahead and move into the weekly recap and talk about your Washington Capitals. Caps fans, thank you for being patient with us. But let's go ahead and start with Jacob Chychrun. Looks unbelievable right now.
Only Chicky clapping.
Exactly. 8-game point streak. He's got goals in 3 straight games. He's on pace for 29. So my question to you is he's going to be the first Caps defenseman to score 30 goals since Game Over Green in 08-09?
Oh my God, I would love to see it. I love when the Caps have like an irresponsible offensive defenseman. It's so awesome. But
Right.
at least Chicky's like a better defenseman than Mike Green was.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me, it's definitely a little bit more, I think, dominant than this, but do you remember that like 2019 John Carlson year where the dude was just going bananas and did not win the Norris because the NHL sucks?
Yeah, I do.
It reminds me of that, but I think what I love about Chicky is it's starting to click on the power play. They're using him in a couple different roles. Like we saw him get like a goal in the bumper position. I think that was a week and a half ago. His entries are great. I love him throwing the head fake at the center line to, throw guys off. That's working really well. And then it's like he unloaded the slap shot the other night. I'm like, dude just has an absolute weapon of a release. Whether it's that wrister or that slap shot, it is unbelievable.
There's a couple of Caps games where I've noticed, whether I'm watching them live or I'm watching the highlights, there's a few times I'll like not be paying that close attention, and then I'll like look at the screen and see a guy score a goal, and I'll be like, oh, nice, we scored. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck was Matt Roy doing, like, in the slot? Or, like, why was, like, Chickren, like, they've been doing some weird stuff with, like, positioning, especially of, like, defensemen, like, not just joining in, but, like, being, like, down low, and then, like, they'll have, like, Wilson, like, go cover the point, and, like, I mean, it's working, so I guess I can't complain, but every now and then I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is he doing all the way down there?
Like I think last week Sandin had a breakaway. Like I don't know if you saw the Kings game where Matt Roy got left all alone in front of goal.
That's one of the ones I was talking about. I'm watching the recap of that game, and I was like, oh, sweet, Roy's scored against his former team. And then I was like watching them like show the slow-mo replay, and I was like, hang on a sec. Why the fuck is he like right in front of the goalie? Like, what was he doing down there?
Like Matt Roy goal, you're thinking like point shot, like somehow finds a way through like sticks, legs.
Yeah, or like maybe he joins the rush on like a rush goal or something, but they were like in the zone, like set up.
Yeah.
Like passing it around in the zone, and he's just like in the slot, like screening the goalie.
It was fantastic.
Like he's where a winger should be.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense, but all right.
Whatever works,
sure,
right? They don't ask how, they ask how many. Another guy, I think.
What's he doing down there?
No, exactly. Another guy I've been super impressed with. I think last night against the Jackets was Justin Sourdif's like statement game of the year.
Dude, fuck yes.
His ice time has gone up consistently. His production continues to go up. I know he got a big goal the other night, but like his 2 assists last night, the
Dude.
tic-tac-toe play was unbelievable.
That goal
but
was so nice.
I feel like it's overshadowing the face-off win he had that was just super clean to Ovi, who, instantly express shipping over to Carlson, and then that thing gets put in the back of the net before anyone can move. Seriously. So it's good to see him, I think, just start to find confidence in this like top 6 role that he's been given with Dowder being hurt, and seems like he's really finding his game and his place in this lineup in DC.
I totally agree, and it happened just after the Caps Twitter nerds started being like, oh my God, why did we fucking get this guy? He has like 2 points in like 15 games, and right on cue has like 2 of the best games of like any Cap this year, and God, some of those people piss me off so much. No, I'm super psyched about him. I can't say enough good things about that game against the Jackets, how he played, the way he was like shirking players off and just driving down the wing and just making shit happen. He looked like a power forward out there.
Yeah, and like zone entry looks great. The skating looks unbelievable. I think for me, I really started to notice it in that game in Montreal. And obviously, we know he's got family from up there, so you knew that was going to be a big one for him. But it just seemed like he had that extra get up and go, and it really helped.
Totally.
Another guy I want to add to that conversation as well is Frankie. Frankie's looked great.
Dude, yes.
Really wanted him to get the Hattie against the Habs, but
he had to do it instead.
Exactly.
I love though that like you can see when he's scoring goals how fired up he is to be like he doesn't want to go back to Hershey. Like he wants to be on this team, and he wants to be like in the lineup every night, contributing, scoring goals. And you can really see it on his face, like when he scores those goals. He scored a couple of like big important goals too, and like they just zoom in on his celebration, and you're like, oh, this guy, like he is trying his fucking hardest out there every night to make a difference, and it's starting to really pay off.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's one of those guys who, just because of the role he's in right now, I know he gets some PP2 time, but typically doesn't get as many chances as these top 6 guys does.
Yeah, so he has to capitalize when he can.
He finishes, man. Like, he takes advantage of a lot of these chances, especially these breakaways that he gets. He's usually money on those.
100%, yep.
I don't know. Maybe throw him out there in the shootout, but what do I know?
Dude, yeah, seriously.
Caps leaves on Friday. I will be in attendance, so if you're there, please let me know. Would love to say hi to you guys. Let's go ahead and go into the college update. This one is not going to be fun for you or I, but Sparty had a rough weekend against Wumbo. That is the University of Wisconsin, for those of you that are new here. Just a nightmare of a first game. I thought that was one of the better periods. The first period that Sparty played, they got 2. They should have had 3 or 4, and then they give up 4 straight in the third or in the second, and just couldn't get back on top in the third. And then they end up losing in overtime the following night. Martone continues to impress. I think he's like 2nd or 3rd in Big Ten scoring right now, so he looks unbelievable. So the new rankings are as follows. Unfortunately, Michigan is on top. We're going to have to do something about that ASAP. Wisconsin moves into 2nd, which I am perfectly okay with, considering they beat the best team in the country back-to-back nights. That's a no-brainer for me. And then Sparty only falls to 3. So huge for the Big Ten right now. I can already hear the Hockey East people just losing their fucking minds that they're not 1, 2, 3 right now. But some good college hockey coming up tomorrow. I think Sparty has Colgate, so definitely I would say a little bit of a trap game. Those upper, New York teams are always tricky. You never want to sleep on those. So hopefully they can get 2 good wins here that split the Thanksgiving holiday.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and do some trivia and then wrap up. You're going to have to put me through the ringer. I tried to do that to Bowens a couple times. I think I got him good once, so I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, it was solid. Okay, so this is a little Caps trivia to go with our weekly recap here.
Nice.
Tom Wilson this season moved into 10th all-time for Capitals goal scorers. He has 191 goals. So that puts him 10th all-time for the Capitals. We obviously know who number 1 is. I want to see how many of the other 8 in the top 10 you can get.
All-time?
Yes.
Okay. Backy?
He is number 4 with 271 goals.
Kuzi?
Remember, this is goals, not points. What was that last one?
Kuzi?
No, he's actually 15th.
Interesting.
171.
Let's go old school here and go Bondra.
Bondra is number 2, 472, right below Ovi.
Gartner.
Number 3, 397. So now you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is Ovi, Bondra, Gartner, Backstrom. You're looking for 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Zuby?
Wilson's at 10. Nope.
There's no way Alex Semin is on this list, right?
He is on this list.
Let's go.
He is number 6 with 197 goals.
Okay. What am I missing?
You're missing 5, 7, 8, and 9.
Are
And
these guys I know?
one of them you absolutely need to get.
Okay.
Another two you could get. One of them I'm a little confused. I genuinely have never heard of this guy.
Okay. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I feel like a fraud for not knowing somebody in the top 10 of goals for our franchise, but this guy sounds like a fake person that I would make Harry have to pronounce.
I'm assuming the one I have to get is going to be Dale.
No, he is actually 14th, just
Wow.
above Kuzi with 181, tied with Michael Pavanka, who
Nice.
also has 181.
Caps legend.
There's a modern era guy that you're missing.
I know. I feel like I'm missing a big one.
Recently, do you need a hint or?
Yeah, give me a hint.
Recently retired.
Recently retired.
Shootout legend.
Fuck
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I should have known that.
He is number 9, so that's
Okay.
who Wilson's 1 goal behind him. Wilson is 10th with 191. Oshbabe is 9th with 192. And do you want me to just give you these other ones?
Yeah.
So Wilson 10th, 191. Oshie 9th, 192. Dave Christian is 8th,
Miracle on Ice
193.
legend.
That's one I thought maybe you could get, but it's kind of hard. This is a guy I've never fucking heard of. He's Swedish. Bengt Ake Gustafsson?
Okay, that's got to be old school, right?
I think because, yeah, it's got to be. I think his birth year is 1958.
Yep, that sounds about right.
But he's got 195 goals with the franchise, I guess. So
Wow.
then we've got 6th, Semin, 197. The only other one you didn't get was the 5 spot, Mike Ridley,
Okay.
218. And then we had Backy, Gartner, Bondra, and Ovi. So,
That's tough. That was a tough
pretty good one.
list.
Yeah.
I don't know why
I saw
I thought-
a post today about Wilson moving into 10th, and I was like, I wonder if I know all of the 9.
Right.
And I looked him up, and I didn't. So I was curious if you did.
I don't know why I thought Dale was higher on that list. I guess maybe just from seeing the highlights over and over and over again. You just think that
I mean, he scored a ton of really important goals for the
That's true.
franchise, so that's part of it. Same with Pavanka, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, how is Joey Juno not on this list?
Dude, honestly, that guy, has some of the biggest ones. Just to here, I'll quick rip through the ones below Wilson. 11th is Bobby Carpenter.
Nice.
12th is Dennis Maruk. 13th, Michael Pavanka. 14th, Dale Hunter. 15th, Kuzi. 16th, Kelly Miller.
Let's go.
17th, John Carlson.
Hell yeah, John.
18th, Kevin Hatcher. And
Nice.
I love the 19 and 20 spots. 19, Steve Konowalchuk.
Let's go.
And 20, Sergei Gonchar.
Oh, miss him. Wish he didn't ever have to play for the Penguins. That one stung me.
Yep.
I feel like that's why the Caps were like, okay, Niskanen and Orpik, and then we can call this even.
Yeah, right.
Anything else before we wrap up here?
I think that should do it.
Yeah, well, like we said earlier, hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, or if you're Canadian, Thursday. Make sure you guys are liked and subscribed on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, CD, all of the above. It helps a lot, and we really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys in the next episode.